All right. Welcome, Entertainment Daily lovers. Welcome back. Okay, welcome back, Entertainment Daily lovers. Let us do this. Let's quickly check our sound and let's get right into this conversation. So we have two gists for you. Both are, in fact, um, one is really juicy. Let me say both. One is juicy, and one is a follow up of a story that we reported a while ago. Or I think about was it January or early or first week of February about Two Face, Idibia, Annie, and the celebrities Tiwa Savage's husband, ex-husband, and things like that. The drama that was actually happening. So this is going to be a quick conversation. Like I said, we're going to be this. First of all, happy new month. So we're going to try our best to drop more content here. We'll just jump in, discuss something. So if it's a topic you're interested in, drop your thoughts in the comment section and let us know what's going on. If it's a story that we need to do a follow up, we will come back and do a follow up. But I'll just try to be dropping the gist. Whenever I can. God willing, this month we're able to drop more content. God willing, God willing, God willing. Happy new month. Today is 1st of March. Yes. Like play. We don't enter March. Okay, so welcome. Now, let me give you a quick rundown before we get right into the conversation. So, then we're going to be talking about Senator Godswill Okpabio and Senator Natasha. Okay. Two senators are married, but a whole lot is going on that you need to hear. Okay, hence I titled it "The Senators Affairs." Okay, you will know why it was titled that way. Okay, so first off, let me talk about teeblizz, Tiwa Savage's ex-husband, and Toke Makinwa, because that's the story that we've already talked about before. What the post he just made now that is making us to come back to have this conversation, right? So now, Tiwa Savage, ex-husband Tibis, we know how he came and started insulting Toke Makinwa, and he had so much to say about Toke Makinwa, and everybody was just wondering where this was actually coming from. Let me see first. Okay, so our sound is good. So people were wondering where this whole thing was actually coming from, why so much, yap about Toke Makinwa. But now, all of a sudden, he has made a U-turn. Welcome if you are just joining us. We're here on a quick rundown on things that are happening. Okay, before we get into the main juicy gist of married people that are eyeing other people's wives and whatnot. Okay, so let's get into what teeblizz posted. All right, so teeblizz took to his social media to actually apologize to Toke Makinwa after he really insulted the post that he had made a week ago or a month ago. How long ago now? That he said a whole lot. He even talked about Toke Makinwa not being a mom, not being this. She was married but never had kids, so there are things she will never understand. He has now. I wonder what he finally discovered. That's why sometimes it's very difficult for you to just jump into conclusion because you do not know what is going on exactly. Do you understand? Because Tiblis did not ask himself how close is Toke to these people that he feels they are his friends. Tiblis didn't do that. He just jumped into conclusion and started dragging the woman. And now that I see this U-turn that he's done, apologizing, um, I want to believe that he must have really tried to find out what is going on in the DBS family, as Two Face, Annie Deep, and all of that. And maybe he now understands that, okay, there was something there that Toke was talking about. Hence, he came back to apologize. So let's quickly run through that. And then we're going to the other conversation. So Tiblis took to his social media and he posted, he said, my sincere apologies, TM, okay, which is the abbreviation of Toke Makinwa's name. It said, I jumped the gun and goofed. I honestly acted out of character because of the unconditional love I have for Annie and King Two. Which is King Two Face. My action was based on expired knowledge. So now he's saying expired knowledge. So meaning There is something that Toke and the rest that are now involved now knows that he doesn't know, and those friends that are not that close to Two-Face anymore are not aware of. So Toke and Tiwa was not just blabbing from what he's writing here. So anyway, he said his actions was based on expired knowledge and lack of understanding of the current occurrences. I hope you spare my ignorance. Hopefully, I get the chance. I get the chance to privately apologize to sort our differences. My action was exactly what I accused you of. Hope you forgive my emotional incompetence, please. And then he tagged her, Toke Makinwa. Then he said, Jamil can't find out. Okay, so this he's kind of telling her that he doesn't want his son to find out this. So he said, Jamil can find out I disrespected one of her favorite, was supposed to be his, one of his favorite aunties. What example am I setting? Blessings and love. That's what he wrote. Now, this was the post that made him to react when Toke came out and said, "This is wrong on all level, and you should be ashamed of yourself." Toke was talking to Two-Face Dibia. Okay, you should be ashamed of yourself for bringing this here. Bring it on. If you think she's alone, let me tell you here that you will have to fight all of us. So this post Toke made online, and a lot of people were commenting. Some people were on Toke's side, some people were against Toke, and some people were saying we're not fighting for anybody. Annie knew what she was doing, so that prompted him to start running his mouth, you know. And then Sylvie said, I'm grateful to God for healing, loving this, and said to Makinwa, having a child for a man is a different type of forgiveness and to love that you yet to attain. I pray you do, sis. Hope you remember the nonsense you talked about me too. Blessings and love to the Idibias during these trying times. Family matters, learn to stay out of it. This was what he has said before. Now he's now backtracking, coming back to actually apologize to Kem Makinwa. All right, so going through that, that's that for that. And let me know what you think about teeblizz making a U-turn. What do you think teeblizz has finally found out about Two-Face Dibia and Annie Dibia and the recent situation that actually made Two-Face to come online and started saying all the things he was saying? And we've covered that drama already. So that being said, now we are going to dive right into the other conversation, which is the conversation that I really want us to get into. Now, Senator Natasha and the Senate President Akpabio, they've been going back and forth. Okay, we all saw the back and forth, and we talked about it. And that video, there's a whole lot that happened. And when you look at this whole thing, you want to say, this one that Senator Natasha stood up that day and spoke the way she spoke. I was saying this, I was like, there's no smoke without fire. Is there something? Even I think I still have that video on Instagram. I was like, is there something we don't know? Is there something? Like, because one, you just don't start from 1 to 1,000 just like that. For somebody to blow that hot, know that something must have been happening behind the scene for somebody to just explode that way, the way Senator Natasha, everybody was trying to tell her to stop talking and what she didn't. So with this interview that she granted this TV station shows that yes, there is no smoke without fire. And on that, she was talking, okay? Even one of the interviewer tried to interrupt Natasha in the process, but the senator refused to, she wanted to land. She even went ahead as telling them that if they would not allow her to do her proper interview, she would go to her Facebook and say everything she wanted to say. And she made a whole lot of accusing the Senate president of trying to go to bed with her, even though her husband is like one of his best friends. And one of the days when he made passes at her, her husband was present, but just a few meters away from them. So probably didn't hear when the senator made this statement allegedly. Okay. So we were waiting for senator to come out, Senate president, to debunk or do whatever he wanted to do, okay? Because we saw the other video that he did where he was saying that the senator does not understand so much. She's new to the Senate, so she does not understand most of their rules and their regulations and things like that. So I feel like if you're able to address that one, then you should be able to come out and also address this one that she's accusing you of wanting. And all of that we're going to be discussing. I want to see if I can at that video. So while we were still talking about that, what we're seeing instead is now the wife of you know uh the Senate president is the one responding. I'm like, at what point will some women learn to take several seats? Okay, when an adult, there are things that can happen that you would not know about. So I'm not saying that the senator did it, but I feel like it's very weird to see the senator's wife granting interview and talking about how responsible he is and how not responsible. Because at the end of the day, for this woman to come out and sit on national TV and say these things that she said with her full chest. Look, ha ha ha. Okay, so I just feel like Senator Akpabio's wife should have stayed out of this. If he has anything to say, let him come out and defend himself, okay? Do you understand? Because at the end of the day that this woman was saying this thing happened, why were you not there? And why? Because at the end of, if he's having that kind of program, I would expect the wife to also be there, and she should be the one to take the wife of their friend. Because from what she's saying, Senator Natasha's husband is their friend. She and the Senate president, like, right, Akpabio, is their friend long before he even got married to her. So I would expect her to be the one to, as they come, both of them will welcome them, and then she will be the one to take the Senator Natasha to show her around the home and show her interior and all those things that the senator alleged, not Senator Akpabio holding the hand of another man's wife, and you're showing your interior and all of that, all in the name of, and when you look at the Natasha, the woman is a very beautiful woman. Okay, she looks like a woman that knows her style, her everything. So look, in fact, when Arnold Schwarzenegger did his own, you also the look, how his wife looked, and the woman he cheated with. I'm not saying anybody is not fine, but I'm just saying anything is possible. So when Senator Akpabio's wife is running her mouth, I'm like, Madam, be careful. Let's hope that Senator Natasha don't have anything that she will put in your face, and you will be shocked. So let's see.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to explain that. Yes. Yes. So many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth. And the Senate president is allowed to counter that.
This is Senator Natasha talking.
On the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa Ibom because he had a big funfair in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends. We went to Akwa Ibom.
Listen carefully.
And at first we were at Ikotepene, we were in his house in Ikotepene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo. It was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just three of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by.
I don't even like this idea where people are holding people's wives, other people's wives' hand.
His face while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone. But
why was he even holding her hand? That's somebody else's wife.
And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I don't understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate president too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not?
That was a bold move.
The Senate
Why is this one closed?
Said, "Oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel." He has a chapel in his house as well. So when we are going to the chapel, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate President's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in the Kotek. And my husband asked me, Natasha, what did the Senate President whisper to you? What was he telling you?
This is where I fault this senator.
I thought,
Natasha,
should I tell him?
You should have told him. That was his friend. And it was disrespectful for him to even say that in the first place.
Kill it there.
And more disrespectful that he said it in front of your husband, even though your husband didn't hear. He was there.
Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate President. He loves him as a brother.
More reason why you should have told him
support him
immediately.
So I told my husband nothing. I can't remember what I created, but I just gave him some words to manage to mask what was said. After, when we laid in bed, I lay to my right and my husband wrapped his arms around me and he said, my love, you know you can't tell me anything.
For him to say that, that means he heard it.
I was like, don't you believe me? I said, nothing. Nothing. Moreover, it's my birthday in a few minutes.
Second opportunity you had to tell your husband you didn't.
My husband told me he doesn't want to see me travel out of the country alone.
I mean, you said you've been the Senate President.
The Senate President's house, because he has a guest house where many senators do go there, you know, after office to like get approvals and all that. So I told him, okay, no problems. That was it. I thought that was going to be the end. But then, in February, I wanted to move a motion. I wanted to move a motion for the investigation on the ills of corrupt practice in Ajakuta Steel Company.
I don't know why they kept interrupting
I listed that motion 5 times. It was the 6th time that it was listed on the order paper that was approved. Many senators can testify to that.
They won't, because it's the Senate President that is involved.
Each time the motion is listed, just before he takes it, he will say, oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it. Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before my motion is taken, the time will be well spent. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office. And I said, Senate President, you know how important this Ajakuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he would take it.
You see? Like, so this is where this whole thing started from.
It's very important. It's been listed.
She was playing hard to get. Senator was punishing her in Senate House.
Natasha,
you they carry your private business, enter government business.
The Senate.
No, the shame.
You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me.
Leg zero. Leg zero.
At that point, I said, sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this. He said, well, the ball is in your court. I left his office, and when I got home, I told my husband, I didn't tell my husband what happened. I just told my husband, please, can you speak to the Senate President to allow my motion to go through? I think I also spoke to the DSP, to the leader, Senator Payne. I spoke to a number of senators that they should please intervene and allow him to do that. I never told them what happened. My husband had to take a trip to London. Then the Senate President traveled to London. My husband met with the Senate President in London and pleaded with him. Let my wife take this motion on Ajakuta. That is very important to her. Okay. All right, Senator said okay that he did not take it because he was protecting me. Hold on, please. He didn't take it because he was protecting me.
You people stop interrupting her. You brought her for interview. Let her do her interview. Now what? Which kind of money show?
My motion was taken. It was the Deputy Senate President, His Excellency Parao.
Shout out to Arise News, because this was done on Arise News.
And walked out. So it was Senator Parao that actually took it. Senator Natasha. And from there, Senator Natasha. Many other incidents happened. Yes, Senator Let's talk about the nightclub. Yes. Hold on, let's talk about the nightclub incident. Professor Kila is going to ask you a question. I'm so sorry to interject here, but I just want to mention that, and I'm glad you gave the caveat at the beginning of your statement, that this is your side of the story, and the Senate President has the right to defend himself or to
why are you repeating what she said already?
What happened between you privately. So what I assume, or for what you're saying, is that what happened last week Thursday began from a private conversation, and then you have felt like you've been maligned as a result of you not agreeing to certain positions, right? Yes. Okay, so what has happened? You know the same story of when a student keeps being failed. Yes. Please, let me say this, Ayo. You know the situation we see in universities whereby a student is continuously being failed. just because she has not slept with the lecturer. That's what I've been facing in simple terms. Thank you.
Allegedly.
That is what I have been going through. Thank you very much. And now moving to, should I speak?
So this kept going on, a lot of interruption that you will notice during this. And I think this is horrible interview that they did. Horrible. Like, I don't understand. If you know that you're going to bring someone like this, of course she would explain from the beginning what led to, because that battle between the both of them at the Senate House, it was obvious that it was more than just raising emotion or trying to get her to shut up, and she was not shutting up. It was more than that. It was obvious that she and the Senate president, something was going on. She was frustrated. That woman was speaking out of frustration. She was speaking out of frustration. Sorry, my little one is interrupting me. That woman was speaking out of frustration, and that's why she kept screaming the way she was screaming and everything. So you, knowing fully well that you're bringing, I'm not saying that, all right, that these interviewers, let me not even be saying that this knew that she was going to say this, but my point is bringing her in, even though it had nothing to do with Senator Akpabio trying to be all flirty with her, even though it was just something about he felt like she was just a woman that had no brain, or she had nothing reasonable to say, or he didn't want her to just raise that motion or anything, she will explain from the beginning. She will explain from the beginning. Give me a second. So if you're just coming in, you're welcome. So I feel like knowing fully well that this lady will come and explain everything, so it will make more sense, because this whole thing has gone viral. Okay, everybody's talking about it, everybody's watching, everybody's looking at how this thing is going to play out. So I did not like the fact that they didn't allow the senator to land and I think she also knew that they were going to interrupt her because of the kind of things she was saying. That's why she said, from the beginning of her statement, she said, I will say what I want to say, and the senator can come and counter. And that's it. If something happens, you should be allowed to tell your own part of the story. And the other person is also allowed to come in and counter and say, well, it didn't happen like this. There is no truth. You will have your own time. Okay? Then from what the both of you will say, somewhere in between, people will draw the conclusion, because it's now public. Okay, so general public will draw their conclusion. And if you feel you want to take the person to court, take the person to court. Both of you present your evidence, and the judge is going to judge, and whatever the rule will be. Okay, but fighting someone like the Senate president in court, Senate president could bend a lot of people to his side. So I don't even know if justice will be served in a case like this. But the thing is, we will hear from both of them. But I feel like the way they kept interrupting her, she want to say this, they will interrupt. She want to say that, they will interrupt. I'm even trying to find, there's another video I want to find before I come to something else here. Give me a second.
Wife of the Senate President,
so we will come back to Senate President's wife, but I want to play another version of this. So let me quickly go back and do this. Wait, let me go to my Instagram, because I think I also shared that Entertainment Daily on Instagram, right? I think I shared the part of the interview that was trending.
About to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth, and the Senate President is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa Ibom because he had a big fanfare in the stadium.
I hope you all can hear.
Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akwa Ibom. And at first, we were at Ikotepene. We were in his house in Ikotepene. Then we all moved to
Why was his wife not there?
Just about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house.
Why even hold the hand
was
of
walking
your
behind us? Just the three of us.
Your friend's wife.
He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that. This designer here, he bought this from us. I thought, God, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room.
And I feel like because her husband was on the phone, he knew the man was distracted. Hence, he was bold enough to make that statement in front of, even though the husband was around.
Senator, I'm going to create time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it. At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I didn't understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate president too, I saw that he also had that thoughts like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate president now said, oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel. He has a chapel in his house as well. So when we were going to the chapel, him. We walked in silence and all. So that evening,
why does Instagram keep closing? I don't
before
know.
we left the Senate president's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in Ikotekene. And my husband asked me, Natasha, what did the Senate president?
Meaning he heard. You messed up, Natasha, not telling him
I
immediately.
Thought, should I tell him
you
that
should
he
have.
was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap, just,
not a good
idea. As if there was nothing.
Remember, they were
because
friends
tomorrow was a big day.
Before you came
I know
in.
how much my husband adores the Senate president. He loves him as a brother. My husband would do anything to support him. So I told my husband, nothing. I just,
That's his friend, so he knows his friend.
I just gave him some words to manage, to mask what was said. After, when we laid in bed, I looked to my right and my husband wrapped his arms around me and he said, my love, you can't tell me anything. What did the Senate president tell you?
This was the second time, so it means the man was already suspicious and he knows his friend, but he just didn't think his friend would do the same, that his friend.
Many people do not know.
His friend would do the same thing to him. That's just what he didn't say.
When we were going to the chapel,
do you understand? So, okay, now, after this, now, I wanted us to listen to this carefully. Then let's now go back to what senators, sometimes when certain things happen, the best thing you should do is to be quiet. A senator's wife now thinks that he's coming to fix this thing because it is not going to be woman to woman. It's no longer going to be Senator Akpabio, Senate President Akpabio to Senator Natasha. But now, looking at this whole thing from the statement that she made, it's actually making them look a little bit guilty, even more. From in the interview that the Senate President's wife granted, where is that one? Let me see. Give me a second.
Negatively, and that's the only reason I have been sick. From here, I'm going to the hospital. It's the only reason I came. The Senate is not a place where we are supposed to be fighting over trivialities like sitting arrangements. It's a place where we're supposed to fight about issues.
Let me see, which one is this one?
And that's why this whole thing is
Senator Ireti can give a impacting negative.
The truth, when I say it's not gender friendly, we expected, because there were only 4 of us, that we'll get privileges.
Hold on.
But
no, not that one. There is the one. Hold on, I'm trying to find the one where this one is the Senator Ireti that Natasha also mentioned. I was talking, but that's not the one we want to talk about. We want to talk about this alleged,
Wife of the Senate President, Unoma Akpabio, has accused Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan of maligning her husband following sexual allegations made by the senator representing Kogi Central. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan, a member of the opposition People's Democratic Party, during an interview on the Arise Morning Show, accused the Senate President of making inappropriate advances at her. But reacting to the interview, Mrs. Akpabio accused the senator of lying and creating content for personal gains. She described her husband as a disciplined and jovial person who is often misinterpreted.
Jovial? What kind of play is that?
Accusation. I'll rather call it unfortunate. It's very
Senate President's wife talking.
That is a family.
Madam, you were not there.
We knew
anything is possible
before the husband married her. We've always known the man.
You see this statement of we knew him before he married her, even made it worse.
Still very good friends.
Because it gave your husband more confidence to make that move, allegedly.
Where this is coming from. And I believe
why were you not
for somebody to go and make such an allegation, there must be a discussion at home. There must have been a sanction or an approval.
You are just insinuating. You are
Oh, you're going to
insinuating.
say this, go ahead and say it. And if the approval has come from the husband, our friend, I believe that he would have spoken to me.
Shouldn't that be more
Because we are
concerning if you
close.
feel like the husband approved for her
And
to
then
say
if
that
the wife
about
had
his
complained
long-time
about such a
friend?
thing,
Meaning
and
he
he
heard
still
what the man
comes,
said.
and it's normal. There is no man you will tell, oh, that the wife will tell, oh, it's your.
What this woman is saying, she just doesn't understand that it makes she and her husband look even more bad. Okay, the fact that you people knew him before gave Akpabio allegedly more confidence.
I know how you men behave that will not frown. First of all, the attitude towards the person will change. But this attitude never changed.
Because she did not confirm it when he asked.
The house. We don't have any house in Ikorebene. Ikorebene is a local government. We are from a Synodim local government. Our country home is in a Synodim.
Well, how is she going to know? She's from Kogi.
And I didn't hear.
You can know everywhere.
What a beautiful home in Okana. If you're talking about Uyo,
what is she even saying? So because it was not your home,
always there.
It means that
I own a school. I'm always in
my school. Madam, rest in Jesus' name.
And when I finish at the school, so the home you are talking about, I'm always there.
More reason why he is not going to bring her there. So that's why he mentioned Ikote Ekpeni or Ikota Abasi.
Responsible man. And
what is it?
As a governor, the number of women we had then in government, I don't think any government has had that number of women.
So does that mean that he was not doing making passes?
A lot of women were involved in governance. And none of them, not one, ever said something like this.
Because who will believe them? Can they fight him? He was the governor.
To get away with a lot of things. And you always tell me, if you can't stand the heat, leave the kitchen. I'm here to serve my people. They will throw mud at me. I said, this mud is becoming too much. Why can't you do something? So I'm now the one going for a legal.
Don't go and embarrass yourself at the end of the day. Look, you don't use the mouth of a grown-up person to the fact that you were not even there. Anything is possible. It's still possible that he didn't say it didn't happen, but it's still also possible. Like it's 50-50 right now. Okay, it's possible that all of these things that Natasha is narrating did happen. And the fact that you're using the example of when he was a governor, you worked with a lot of women, and who wants to challenge somebody, a governor? Not even a local government chairman or a ward chairman you want to challenge, because they will always use their power to oppress you. Okay, even the police on the road will still collect 50 naira from you and still beat you on top of it. So what are we saying? Is it Senate president or governor? Okay, then he was governor. So all the excuses that Akpabio's wife is giving does not make any sense. Those are not enough reason to say, okay, for these reasons, that's why he must have done these things when he was a governor, but nobody would challenge. These women were not bold enough to challenge him. And now, mind you, if he didn't even continue on this path where he was frustrating all her effort in the Senate House and everything, maybe she wouldn't even come out mentioning this, because they would not have that fallout that they had, that went public, that went viral. Okay, all of this, she already swept it under the carpet. Right, she already swept it under the rug, because even when her husband asked, I was saying that was the wrong move Natasha made, because the fact that her husband was there within earshot, so it's a 50-50 possibility that yes, he was on his phone, but it's possible that he did hear what the other person is saying, because wait, if you're on your phone and you're talking with somebody and you're with other people, the time that you might not necessarily hear what people are saying is when you're the one talking. But after saying what you want to say, the person on the other end has to respond, right? Or when the person is talking, you have to be quiet, listening, so you can respond. So if the moment where Senator Akpabio made that statement, he had already miscalculated, and it was when Senator Natasha's husband, Odwaga, was listening to what the other person on the other end of the phone was telling him, there is a possibility that he can hear what his wife and the senator was discussing. But because senator felt like he's on the phone, so he's distracted, he made the statement quickly. So that's why. But why do you think that And their body language again, the way she pulled away. Remember, she had said he was holding her hand. They were walking. So you pulling away, something will make you react that way. Okay. So it's obvious that it was something negative. He didn't know exactly what was. That's why he asked her immediately after. She said, no, she just, played this, wanted to just not, because she didn't know what his reaction would be. His reaction might be, pack your bag, let's take the next helicopter flight, let's leave Uyo, let's go away from here, or go and confront him and they'll have a fallout or something that she just didn't want. So she said something else to the man, right? Okay, now then maybe they went and ate, took a shower, had a coffee, drink, have some wine or something. Then tried to going to bed, cuddle his wife. He asked her the same question again. What did the senator tell you? Meaning he heard something. He felt like, wait, is my ear deceiving me? And then coupled with both of them, the senator and his wife's body language showed that there was something that made them uncomfortable. So he wanted to hear from her. She still covered up. Do you think he believed what she said? He didn't believe, because if he believed her the first time, he wouldn't ask it. He wouldn't ask her again the second time. So now that the Senate president's wife is saying that, oh, look, we don't have a house here in point A, we don't have a house here in point B. Does it really matter if the statement was made in your home, or it was made in a hotel setting or a guest house where politicians use? There are a lot of hotels that politicians would use to hang out. There are lots of that is owned by people that they know, they trust, and they feel comfortable, and they have their private moments, and they can do all their BS there, and everything is covered and hidden. So even though it was not your country home, the woman is not from your state. Not even everybody that is from that state that will say, oh, they're not going to come and tell me, oh, I'm from Delta State, so I know everywhere in Delta, I know all the inner Kakus. No. So there are parts where somebody will go in. So let alone somebody that is from Kogi. I think she's from Kogi, somewhere there, Kogi or Benue, somewhere up there that she's from. Well, how would she know what is happening in Cross River, Calabar, or this in Akwa Ibom, Uyo? How is she going to know exactly if that was Akpabio's country home, or Akpabio's rest house, or Akpabio's whatever it was? So that's, you cannot say, if it's that home, that is where I will be. Which foolish man takes a woman he wants to sleep with straight into his home when he knows that his wife will go to work and return back to the home to what? Come and catch the both of them on bed or what? Who does that? He will always do it outside where he will be able to talk. And so there's no argument. This Dakmabio's wife wants to come and argue that, but she said it happened here, and if it's there, I own a school, I go to work, and then I come back home. You sound, I don't want to use the word silly, but that's how that sounds. It's like it's only an ignorant person that will say something like that. Okay? And we've seen politicians and senators and people that are married to several wives. Ned has how many wives? Is Ned not also a member of? Is Ned not also a senator? And what do you think? Akpabio cannot take several wives if he wants. The culture supports it. So what are we talking about? So don't make excuse. I don't like that now you're saying he doesn't want to press charges. You want to jump in to go and press charges. And you're already accusing Natasha's husband that, oh, why didn't he come to you? He must have approved for her to come out and make these statements and everything. Didn't you ask yourself that, wait, if you've known him even before he married this woman and everything, and she wants to go out and make this type of comment, and he really agreed that she should go and make it, did it not occur to you that there's no smoke without fire? And the fact that in her story, she had mentioned that her husband was there, but he was a bit distracted with the phone, and your husband held her hand and was showing her around the place, the home that he said was his home, that you're now claiming that is not you people's home, that you people's home is in Ekota Basi or Ekota Ekpene or Ekota Frank, wherever the house is. So now, you will go and file this. And if truly this man heard what he heard, why should he come and tell you? There are things that will happen that people don't want to go and disturb somebody's wife because they're like, what? I'm not going to go and tell the woman that the woman will not be heartbroken. There are things you will not know. There are things that people don't even find out about people until they are getting a divorce or something like that. So I feel like Senator's wife was off. Saying he's going to file defamation is just weird. It's just
of the Senate
weird.
President, Unoma.
Really, 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 really weird.
So the home you are talking about, I'm always there. The Senate President is a very, very responsible man and disciplined. As a governor, the number of women we had them in government I don't think any government has had that number of women. But in Akwa Ibom, when he was a governor, a lot of women were involved in governance. And none of them, not one, ever said something like this. In the past, we've allowed people to get away with a lot of things. And he will always tell me, if you can't stand the heat, leave the kitchen. I'm here to serve my people. They will throw mud at me. I said, but this mud is becoming too much.
This thing that this woman is saying, this is not just going to help. And just pray that there was no instant where this woman had recorded your husband's conversation. You know that this Senator Natasha had recorded your husband saying all these kind of things. And trust me, there are people that might have not been bold enough to come out when he was actually making all these kind of statements. What you said, when he was a governor, he had a lot of people work. There are people that I don't know how some people think in this life. Whatever you're doing, no matter how private, how secretive you are, there are people that are seeing you. There are people that are keeping records. So you don't know who will just say enough is enough for this man, and they will start bringing out evidence that you will not be able to deny. Okay, so you are not this your suing and not suing and this and this and that. Akpabio's wife filed defamation lawsuit against Natasha Akpoti, 250 billion in damages. If you like, go and be seeking billions upon billions upon billions. This woman is bold enough and looks like someone that is not afraid of anybody. Okay, that's the kind of woman that this Senator Natasha looks like. And I think that's the more reason, because you were saying you people work with a lot of women, nobody ever came up. There are people that are in positions where they feel like this is a do or die affair. Whatever BS that comes, they will swallow it, eat the shit, and just be quiet. But that does not mean that something didn't happen to them or they are not going through something. And there are also women that immediately things happen, they come out and they will scream on top of their voices and damn all the consequences and everything. So I don't like this narrative where people feel like, oh, why are you the first person saying it? There are several people that must have gone through this whole thing. They have even more evidences than what Natasha had gone to, and they didn't say because he was a governor. Okay, and there are other people that are, you know, might have gone through this now that he's a senator, but they didn't say because he's a senator. He has the power, he has the connection. Okay, so there is no way they're going to come up against somebody like this. We've seen people that try to stand their ground and try to say, oh, I want to do this for Nigeria. I want to. You talk too much, they will arrest you, they will lock you up, they don't have anything to hold you, they will still hold you down there, they will create excuses, they will do all, even when court say release somebody, they won't even do it. You understand? And nothing will happen. Okay, what they want to do is what they want to do. We've seen situations where people are buying and they hear the person died in custody. They will go and write nonsense as autopsy to come and prove, why you know that that person was died. So this question, you know, does not make any kind of sense, you know, at all. It doesn't. Okay. I said, Ekaite Akpabio, wives of Senate President Godswill Akpabio, has filed multiple lawsuits against Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan, the Senate representing Kogi Central, over the alleged defamatory comments. On Friday, Akpoti Uduaghan, in an interview on Arise TV, alleged that the Senate president made sexual advances at her in his office and residence in Akwa Ibom. The Senate president's wife responded by saying her husband is disciplined. I don't hear discipline. Who know their discipline? People they discipline, they know they make advances for a year. It takes just the grace of God to see those men that can really put themselves, work, be around a lot of women and work and just do their thing and be professional. Well, you people were seeing the one that was coming out of Equatorial Guinea. You people thought it was only Equatorial Guinea. It's all over the world and everywhere. Okay, everywhere. All right. The Senate president's wife responded by saying her husband is disciplined, adding that the senator's claim were lies. You already said it's a lie. You were not there. Why were you not in that home when they were? You were supposed to be showing Senator Natasha around the house and the decoration you people had there. I don't even know why you needed to show decoration, because you needed space to talk nonsense, allegedly. Now let's continue. In a fundamental rights suit filed at Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court, Ekaite said the scandalous and salacious comments made by Akpoti Uduaghan have caused her and her children emotional and psychological abuse. And I never start. Akpabio's wife asked the court to restrain Akpoti Uduaghan from making further spiteful statements that infringe on her fundamental human rights. An order awarded, an order awarding the sum of 250 250, that's 200, okay, they put it in 250 billion naira only, as exemplary, punitive, aggravated, and general damages against the respondent for her infringement and fundamental right of the applicant alongside the fundamental right suit rate. Such further or other orders for honorable, the court may deem fit to make in circumstance. Ekaite said the Kogi senator comments damaged the reputation of the claimant and indeed her entire family, bringing them into disrepute and opprobrium. She asked the court to mandate Akpoti Uduaghan to tender an apology to her family and publish in 2 national newspapers. An order of honorable court compelling the defendant to pay to the claimant the sum of 100 billion naira as a punitive and the damages and defamatory. All these things that are, it is going down. I just know that this is a story that keeps giving. I want to keep this live stream as short as possible, so we can get on to other things. Let me know in the comment section what you think is really happening. Let's see where this lawsuit is going to go, and why is it that it's not Akpabio that is filing this lawsuit. I find it very funny that Akpabio is not filing lawsuit, and instead it is his wife that is out here filing lawsuit against this woman. But let's see how this fight, Senate president versus a senator, let's see where this is going to go. But we know that it is Niger, so we can expect much. So let's see where this is going to go. Thank you so very much for listening, and let me know your thoughts. I don't want this to be too long, so I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now till we're here to talk about the next gist. Thank you so much. Bye.